So this person says, I'm confused. Do you want the government to set a higher national monetary minimum wage or make the minimum wage be a living wage? Because the living wage would depend on where you live in the United States. So the question is, do I want the government to set a higher minimum wage or make minimum wage be a living wage? And the answer to that question is yes. Because what I would like to see happen with the minimum wage is as follows. I would like to see the federal government set a standard for what a minimum wage should be, and then have that standard implemented state by state based on the highest cost of living in that state. Now, some people say, well, that's not fair. So let's just take my state of Illinois as an example. Obviously, the minimum wage would be the highest in the city of Chicago because you would need to make the most amount in order to survive in the city of Chicago. But what the minimum wage in the city of Chicago would be would not be what the minimum wage would need to be in Southern Illinois, right? If we set the minimum wage at $25 an hour in order to live in the city of Chicago, people in downstate Illinois would have that same $25 an hour minimum wage, and they would be making way more than what they would need to make. If you want to break it down by region or county and add that much bureaucracy to it, let's have that conversation. My idea is to do it state by state. So you would come to a state like Illinois, and using the federal formula, you would say that the minimum wage needs to be set for the state of Illinois based on what it would take to live, working a 40-hour work week at this minimum wage in the city of Chicago, because that's the most expensive place to live. And then that would be the minimum wage for the entire state. So in California, it would be San Francisco or Los Angeles, right? In New York, it would be New York City. In Idaho, it would be Boise, which would be drastically different than what the minimum wage would be to live in the city of Chicago, which would be drastically higher than what it would take to live anywhere in Mississippi or West Virginia. It would be a state by state thing, but it would be regulated and formulated at the federal level and implemented at the state level. So you would have different minimum wages depending on what state you lived in. That's what I would like to see. I would like to see the federal minimum wage raised and for it to be a livable wage.